Good morning. Hello, everyone. My name is Kathy. I am the Water Education Specialist with the California Department of Water Resources, joining you today from Sacramento.
And I'm Chris Auroch, a Public Affairs Specialist, also with DWR. We're talking today about snow surveys. We're going to start with a short video.
My name is Sean Guzman. I am the Chief of the Snow Surveys and Water Supply Forecasting Section with the California Department of Water Resources. This is probably the best job I've ever had. I started as a student assistant with the California Department of Water Resources in 2007 and had always heard of the lore of the Snow Surveys group and always wanted to join. And as soon as the position popped up, I jumped right on it. So I'm mainly known for measuring snow here at the Phillips Station Snow Course. Our current water supply forecasts coming out of our snow surveys and water supply forecasting team are running anywhere between 50 to 70% of average. So this snow course has been measured since 1941. So we have almost 80 years worth of record here. The Phillips Station Snow Course is the one we come out to measure with all of the media because it's actually the easiest one to get to. But there are over 260 different snow courses scattered throughout the state. Some of our snow courses are a lot harder to access. We access these different sites on skis, by backcountry skiing, on snowshoes. We also access snow courses on snowcats and even helicopters. Typical day for me when I'm out measuring the snow is getting up early, checking in on our different snow sensors scattered throughout the state. That's probably one of the very first things I do is see how the snow looks at across 130 different snow sensors. And then once we get to the course, we, it's typically a longer trek. We unpack, put all of our gear together, assemble our snow tubes, and then we walk out to the first point. So point one's over there. Between here to there, they're like 25 feet.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is a very tight course.
Yeah.
So we're going to walk over there to start and come this way.
28. The points on a snow course have been predetermined, and they've been that way since the inception of each snow course. All the snow courses have a variety of different points, and they've all been measured in those same locations for decades. 36. So we take all those snow course measurements that are recorded manually, and then we incorporate those into different models so that we can forecast water supply. That water supply number is how much water will eventually drain into our reservoirs. If it's too much or too little, we want to make sure that the reservoirs are filled all the way to the top as much as possible in the summer months, so we have as much supply during those warm, dry summer months. Water is such a precious resource to everyone here in the state, and our Snowpack actually supplies about a third of our water supply statewide. It's the most fulfilling job knowing how I can help to make sure that the people of California have enough water during any time of the year. 65. Whoever thought I could take, an outdoor activity I loved growing up and turn it into a full-time job?
All right. Wow. That was a really cool video. And I think we're going to possibly get some questions. If anybody has some questions about something they saw in the video, go ahead and drop them in the chat. We'll get to as many of them as we can. But while we're waiting on those, I have a question for you, Chris. It sounds like these snow surveys are really important. Can you tell just everybody a little bit about when we started doing them?
Yeah, snow surveys started in the United States around 1908 on Mount Rose in Nevada near Lake Tahoe. A university professor named James E. Church Jr. thought he could figure out how much water would flow into Lake Tahoe each summer by measuring how deep the snow was and how much water was in it. He thought this could help people living there know if they should expect floods or possibly water shortages over the summer. He used Mount Rose as an outdoor laboratory and created his own measuring tool, which he called the Mount Rose Snow Sampler. Today, we still use Dr. Church's tools to help forecast how much water we'll have for all of California. The neat thing is, he was originally a professor of art and literature, but is best known for his snow sampler. The California Cooperative Snow Survey Program began in 1929, so we've been doing it for about 100 years. When DWR was created in 1956, it became the lead agency overseeing the program. Today, over 50 different federal, state, local, and private agencies participate in the program.
Cool. And we've had a couple of questions come in. And I know that I'm not very good at keeping numbers in my head, but since you do this more than I do you know what is a normal or average snowpack level?
Well, actually, in California, there is no average or normal anymore. Climate change has really affected us that we really can't find an average. It's either an extreme wet or an extreme dry year. But California typically receives about 90% of the snow and rain between early October and late April. And our snowpack accounts for almost a third of our fresh water supply in California. You know, this amount of water California receives from the snowpack is really important to meet our water needs, especially in the summer and fall when we typically don't get any rain. You know, as the snowpack melts, it runs off into our streams and rivers, eventually ending up in large lakes. These lakes or reservoirs hold the water so it's available throughout the year. So when you turn on your faucet to get a drink of water, that water probably came from part of our snowpack.
So there's a question here about that 1/3 number of our state's water supply coming from snow. Is there any indication if this percentage will increase or decrease possibly as we look to other water supply options like recycling water or things like that?
Well, our snowpack, or what we call our frozen reservoir, in a normal year is about a third of our water supply. But like I just said, we don't always have normal years, and it's very rare we have normal years. Our snowpack's shrinking. The snow line, or the bottom elevation of where snow is falling, is actually getting higher. So that snowpack is getting less and less. So it is important that we look for other resources where we could get water. Our water also comes from rainfall, and then as well as groundwater, which has been greatly depleted over the last couple of years as well.
Okay. So in the video, we saw Shonda Guzman holding this long metal tube, and that's the snow sampler, right?
Correct. It's actually called a federal snow pole.
The federal snow pole. Can you say a little bit more about how it works and how accurate is it?
Well, what we do is basically it's the same pole that Dr. Church first created. And to collect a snow sample and determine its water content, a tube just like this here with the cutting edge is driven down into the snow. We get down to the ground and we pull out the depth, and we take the snow core or sample, which we can see through this slot here, and we weigh it with a simple measuring tool like this. And so we know how much it weighs. These measurements are then used by the surveyor to calculate the water or water equivalent of the snowpack. See, snow is made up of water and air, and we need to know how much water is in the snow so that we can understand how much water will make its way into those reservoirs. Too much water, and the reservoirs have to release water early to prevent flooding. Too little, and we have to conserve more.
Okay. How many snow surveys do you do in a year?
Well, there's over 260 snow courses throughout the Sierra Mountains and the Cascades. We do those every month between January and April. And we also have 105 automated snow pillows. These are large aluminum plates filled with liquid that don't freeze. As the snow falls on them, they measure snow and depth and record that electronically. But our snow courses, we do monthly, like I said, between January and April. Each location has a set course, and we always take the same number of measurements each time. The snow survey program is actually the longest running statewide climate record in California. That means we're able to look at the snowpack records going back to the early 1940s and compare them what we're seeing now. So you can look at January 1st of 1954 and January 1st of 2021 and see what the differences are for that given location. Now, the most famous snow course is Phillips Station. That's the one you'll see on the news. And the snow course at Phillips Station has been used continually since 1941.
Wow. And you mentioned earlier that one of the things that we're seeing is that the snow levels are going up. Is that correct? What exactly are we seeing from this long record of snow surveys?
Yeah, it's a big impact that climate change is having on our snowpack. Like I said, the snow line, or the bottom elevation where we first see snow, is getting higher. So that means we're getting more rain and less snow. That could be a problem in very wet years because it could lead to more flooding and less water supply in those dry, warm summer months when we're usually using that snowpack to provide water downstream.
All right. So we just got a minute or two left. So there's one question in here, Chris. Somebody's wondering if there's like any volunteer opportunities to get involved with the snow surveys or internship opportunities.
Sure, I would check with your local water district. That we partner with a lot of water districts, irrigation districts, Southern California Edison, San Diego Gas and Electric, and then DWR across the state. You can always reach out. It's easy to reach our public affairs office, and we can direct you properly. Our email is media@water.ca.gov. Or once again, maybe reach out to West Basin and ask them what kind of volunteer opportunities they have.
Great. So the last question is, what can the people watching today do to help increase the snowpack level?
Well, not a lot you could do to help increase the snowpack level. That's a Mother Nature thing. Mother Nature decides when we're going to have rain, we're going to have snow. But I like to say that first and foremost, making water conservation a way of life is very important. Do the small things like only watering your lawns 2 to 3 days a week, not twice a day, every day. Turn off your faucet when you're brushing your teeth or shaving. Only run your dishwasher and washing machine when they're full. Maybe when you're looking to replace your appliances or your showers, look at those low flow and energy efficient devices. Doing small things like that will really help out in the long run.
And I'd add to that, anything that we can do to slow down climate change, slow down the warming that's happening, when we burn fossil fuels, coal, oil, gas, things like that, that's what's contributing to climate change. So the more that we can cut our fossil fuel emissions, the better off our snowpack's going to be in the future. So I think we're out of time, but I just
next up we got Blanca Biller and Dr. Adrian Tower with the Metropolitan Water District.
All right. Thanks, Chris. Thanks everybody for joining us today.